Hello and welcome to my multiplayer level design commentary video, where I'm going to be talking about some of the design choices that can be found inside of my map, which is known as KOTHBarn, King of the Hill Barn, and as well as looking into some of the character identities, which character is best where, how they operate, etc., and some of the main things that you'll be able to find around the map, which has been placed there purposefully. During this, there will be some gameplay of me playing the game. I apologize for the terrible gameplay. I'm not very good at TF2. And I'm going to sub in some extra videos and some images wherever necessary, just to give a little bit more context. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and start with some of the classes. And the classes, specifically, I'm going to split into 3 sections, being the front, the middle, and the back. In the front, we have the heavy, the scout, and the soldier. In the middle, we have the medic, the demo, and the engineer. And in the back, we have the spy, the sniper, and the pyro. Now, the reason as to why I've done it in these specific groups is because I believe that the characters all share similar game plans, or at least character identities. Like, say, for example, the heavy and the scout want to be at the front lines, just at different places. The soldier wants to be at the front, but can also take a back-to-middle sort of position in order to make use of the better sight lines and the better firing lines that soldier can with the massive range that soldier has. In the middle, you have like the medic and the demo and the engineer, because they kind of want to stay in one place, helping the team. Demo is a little bit of a red herring there, because demo can go basically anywhere, especially with the jump capabilities that you get from the sticky bombs and the outplay that you get from sticky bombs and everything like that. But the back is pretty obvious. The spy and the sniper. The spy wants to stay pretty far back, only going into enemy lines where the sees someone straggling, or if there's a turret that needs to be dealt with, or a dispenser, or anything that could be sapped. And the pyro kind of wants to stay in the back with the shortest range probably in the entire game, and not really much way to close that distance. It's best for pyro to stay at the back and flank around where spies can flank as well. And spies versus pyro has always been a very what's the word, unfair matchup, at least, being that pyros can just fire blindly and spies stand little to no chance. So next I want to talk about the scout, and especially the different paths that the scout can take, like this one right here. No other character in the game can take that path, where I'm aware, and scouts themselves they excel in going behind enemy lines and flanking, taking out snipers, taking out spies, taking out turrets, things like that, in order to give the team an advantage. Dying to pyros like that is a bad idea, but you get the idea in total. There are many paths that the scout can take in order to get behind enemy lines. You can take the above path and jump into the objective. You can take the round path where the snipers are, meaning that you're probably not going to get hit by the snipers because the snipers won't be able to hit you because you're too fast. Also do things just like run straight in if someone's trying to capture the point, or if there's an engineer that's located on top of one of the platforms inside of the point. The scout can actually jump across the entire barn in order to take out that engineer or that sniper or whatever. So next up is soldier. Soldier does as soldier does. They find the really annoying peaky sight lines like this one right here, which is very powerful, especially because it gives you a complete view of the objective, or at least a lot of it. They find these sight lines and they abuse them until the entire team probably just rage quits. But luckily, the soldier can rocket jump. Rocket jumping on top of the barn in a struggle or in a hurry is actually an idea, and people have done it before. But rocket jumping around the map in order to get up to the different ledges, in order to get better sight lines, is all about what the soldier does. The super long sight lines that the sniper benefits from also give the soldier certain benefits because of the just massive range that the soldier can get. There isn't exactly a tremendous amount to say about the medic, apart from the fact that a lot of the map is designed to give the medic a lot of cover. Like, a lot of the time, a medic will be pocketing a heavy, or an engineer, or someone who needs to stay alive in order to deal a lot of damage, and the fact that there's so much cover around the map and there's so many corners, and the medic can sometimes heal people around the corners, will allow the medic to stay alive a lot longer, and to allow people like scouts and spies a job taking out those medics. Demo Man shares a very similar fate to the medic in the fact that you can't really tailor to a Demo Man apart from just putting walls everywhere. So with this map, again, with the amount of cover that there is, you can hide sticky bombs literally anywhere. Yeah, you can hide them on the flank routes, you can hide them on the main routes. As long as you can get there in time, you can hide sticky bombs anywhere in order to deal massive damage to loads of groups of enemies. Unfortunately, I absolutely suck at the demo, so it was really hard to playtest this. However, luckily some of the playtesters were very good at the demo and did make a very good use of the demo's abilities. Moving swiftly on to the Engineer is an amazing class for a map like this because of how much cover there is, how many places you can place a turret, and how many teleporter locations there are. There is a specific teleport location which I'll show on screen right here. Here is one of the amazing teleporter locations that you can use because it is right outside the objective, yet still very heavily fortified. There are other teleporter locations, of course. However, that one is one of the ones that I picked up on quite quickly. There are other Engineer turret locations as well, like say for example up on the Purge right here, right next to this Engineer helmet, which I placed there on purpose to give players an incentive to look at it and go, oh, maybe I can place an Engineer turret here, because with the cover of the door and the cover of everything else, and the fact that it can overlook onto the objective perfectly, if you can manage to set up a teleporter and a turret and a dispenser near in the building behind it, you can have an absolutely amazing turret position that will do wonders for the team. Now, of course, there are other turret positions as well. There are some turret positions not inside the objective and actually quite far away from the objective that will also deal absolutely massive damage. As you can see about in this clip now, I'll start to build this one turret, which absolutely decimates. And that's mostly because the bots are a little bit stupid and they don't understand that having the turret there is a bad idea and don't really tend to get rid of it. But as we'll see later on, when turrets are around and they're extremely hard to deal with, the spy excels in dealing with the turrets. Sniper is up next, and despite what my gameplay might tell you, they are the most powerful class on this map. The amount of long sight lines, the amount of tunnels that the players can squeeze through, the amount of doors that the players can camp, the fact that there is multiple sniping nests and the pickups are located near those sniping nests to keep on fueling those snipers. Snipers are the most powerful class on this map by far. The sightlines fuel the snipers in order to deal more damage. There are sightlines which the sniper can see straight into the objective, and there is even one specific sightline which the sniper can see from one spawn to the very other spawn. It's not a very useful sightline, being the fact that it's of their door and you can't really see very much. It would take a lot of reaction times, but an extremely skilled sniper can make use of those sightlines and pick off enemies before they even become a threat. Spies will be the bane of existence to the snipers, in the fact that the snipers will have no idea that they're ever coming, and the only way that the snipers would ever be able to tell is if the team has a good communication. Scouts and soldiers as well will be directly engaging the snipers in long-range gunfight and close-range shotgun blasts from the scouts, and also, depending on where the sniper is situated, there is even places for sniper battles to occur, as you can see here, where I get absolutely decimated by this guy. It is very important to play to the strength of the sniper on this map. Not having one is honestly nerfing yourself. Next up is the Spy, and now, while it was very hard to playtest the Spy, especially since the fact that the bots never use them, Spy feels very powerful on this map. A very underappreciated pick. Like, oh, okay, sorry. The Spy feels very powerful on this map. The fact that you can go invisible, turn into the enemy, look like the enemy, and kill them from behind is absolutely integral on an open map like this. Every single time an engineer is about to place a turret down, all you need to do is just walk behind them, stab in the back, sap the turret, and then leave, and they'll never know. Good spies can make use of the environment around them, like, say, for example, the different flanking paths. I prefer the right-hand side flanking path with the extremely large tunnel that the spy can go through and be basically invisible. The pickups around the map aid in the spy's self-sustain and the fact that they can one-shot any character by being behind them, including heavies, like in this clip right here, is absolutely integral to the amazing gameplay of the Spy. Since snipers and engineers are such large forces to be reckoned with on this map, the Spy can just take them out in one go, and you will never have to deal with them ever again. The Spies can be extremely powerful, however, are barely ever played on this map, simply because it's very open, and pyros and different scouts and soldiers can just get rid of the snipers before they even pose... the Spies before they even pose a threat. Last but kind of least, we have the Pyro. Now, the Pyro was hard to play to because in order to bring out the strength of the Pyro, you need it to be in close quarters combat. However, a lot of this map is very open, very large, and very long-sighted. There are lots of times where players will just get away from you if you're playing the Pyro and retreat back into one of their spawn doors or retreat back into one of the bases. There are times in which the Pyro excels. Like, say, for example, if you can find a place to hide in one of the flanking routes, or even on the capture point themselves, you can just absolutely melt the people that are on the capture point, dealing huge damage to the heavies, killing the Spies and the Pyros and the different scouts almost instantly, destroying the engineer turrets. You can go on an absolute rampage as Pyro on this map. However, the fact that there are so many long sight lines mean that you can just get picked off by snipers, you can get flanked by Spies and just instantly killed by the backstab. You can find a random turret that someone's placed on a random flank, and because of that, Pyros do end up being the worst class on this map, and the one that I catered to the least for. If I could go back and change a lot of the map, I would make it less open and allow more different corridors and maybe some underground tunnels and things like that the Pyros can use, specifically because they are so weak on this map. All in all, I think KOTHBarn is a pretty decent map. I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5. The fact that it's not higher says a lot, especially from the person who created it, and it could just be self-criticism. However, I think that the fact that the demo, the Pyro, and the Spy don't really have a lot going for them on this map in particular means that I haven't catered towards all of the individual classes, and the people who play this map may not be able to play their favorite class simply because it is just too weak compared to some of the others, like Sniper, Soldier, and Heavy. If I were to change it, as I said before, I would add more of the underground tunnels, maybe more flanking points, maybe more buildings, and also increase the size of the map as a whole to give players more flanking routes and to give more space to play around in. I would also place more props around to beautify the map and make it look better, and make both of the sides, the red and the blue sides, maybe more visually distinct from each other, as right now the only thing that you can tell between them is different forms of graffiti and different props that you can find around the map that show that you are on either the red or the blue side. But thank you very much for watching the commentary video, and that's it. Thank you very much.